Hey, welcome back to my channel. This is Mel. Today we're going to shop our stash. I've purchased a whole lot of palettes that I have never ever used. Don't know why. It's just the collectors in me, but today we're going to use them. We're going to visit two different brands, two different palettes, one indie, one mainstream. So we'll see how that goes. If you like this look that I came up with today and you want to see what I used and what the two palettes are, stay tuned. So I have decided to play my makeup again. I am going to play with some palettes that I've received a long time ago. Well, I can't say received. I purchased these a long time ago, but I never, ever, ever used them. So today I decided to use them. One of them being from NYX Cosmetics. This is the Minka palette. And the second one I bought last year during the release for it, which was the Natasha Denona I Need a Nudes palette. Let me show you what the insides look like. This is the Natasha Denona I Need a Nudes. It's pretty soft nude palette. And then for the NYX Cosmetics, it is very shimmer heavy. This is the Mika palette. One of them is shimmer heavy, like I said, and the other one is more, you know, matte. It has some shimmers in it too, but they're not so intense. I want to play with both of them today because I want to do like something soft but glam at the same time. But then knowing me, I could start off thinking one way and then things go left. So I already prepped the skin and already filled in my brows. I'll leave in the description below everything that I used on my face and on my eyebrows if you're interested. So let's get started. As my primer for the lid, I'm gonna use concealer to actually even out the skin tone. So I'm going to use MAC Studio Fix 24 Hour Smoothing Wear Concealer. I'm going to use two shades. I'm going to use NC45 and NC43. I'm going to use them together. I'm going to mix them. NC45 is normally my shade if I want to cover up something. But if I want to brighten up under the eye, I would use NC42. But on my lid, I usually mix them together. And I usually mix them together also when I'm carving out my brows. I'm going to use a Luxie Precision Shader Brush, the 239. So apply the concealer to the eyelid. Usually I use concealer all the time to, well, I don't want to say all the time, most of the time. But if I'm not using concealer, I usually use an eyeshadow primer. I don't have a specific one that I use. I usually like to try different eyeshadow primers. So one day it could be MAC, another day it could be Milk, another day it could be Juvia's Ways, another day it could be whatever, Anastasia. Most of the time I reach for whatever's in front of me. And stuff. I really don't have like a preference. And the reason being why most of the time I end up using my concealer is because whatever I used to carve out my brow, I don't want to waste it, so I'll just take the rest in and spread it all over the lid. So that's how that ended up happening, with me using concealer as my base. And then what I like to do after that is set my base setting powder. So I would usually set my eyes with the Nye Banana Powder. So I'm going to take a Studio E141 brush from AOA to just go ahead and set the eyelid. Like, just set it. Good. I don't want to leave any room where like I didn't set it properly and then pigmentation shows up differently across the eye. We don't like that. I want to give the shadows a fair shot. And also too, powder on top of powder blends better. I want to do something like really nice and glam. I'm gonna go into the Natasha Denona I Need Nudes palette. I'm gonna use the shade Fair. I'm gonna start with Fair in my crease. Ooh, the kickback is heavy on that one. I'm gonna use the NYX Professional's eyeshadow brush number 32. Ooh, that is really light. I'm not mad about it, but it's really light. I was not expecting that. It's okay though. It makes a good brow bone color though. Now that I look at it, it makes a really good brow bone. So if you'll see me looking over to the side, I have a mirror here to also give me a better view if I need to. But this eyeshadow palette has a lot of kickback. Even just dipping the brush in there, it's like eyeshadow everywhere. I'm gonna use the same brush and I'm gonna go into the color Mesh. And I'm gonna go right underneath that shade to see if I could get some type of depth in there. Because this shadow palette, this palette is very light, leading very light. Like, oh my god. Well, it's almost like it didn't do anything. Might have to go a little deeper, because I don't even feel like it's showing anything really. Okay, so I'm gonna change my brush, and I'm also going to pick another shadow because I don't think that did anything for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and use, let me use Tender from the Natasha Denona Tender. Slightly darker, but it's like more cool tone. That's what I feel like. This is a cool tone nudes. Very cool tone. It's great if you're gonna do a wedding and you want very light, minimalistic makeup. So if you're not too like keen on heavy eyeshadow, but you want to have some type of eyeshadow just to show that you do have makeup on, this would be a good palette for that. I'm using an e.l.f. brush, which has no name, but it's more compact eyeshadow brush. It's more dense. So, but I'm gonna have to go back with that NYX 32 brush or see if I can blend that in a little bit more. Because the pigmentation on it is not that, it's not that strong. I'm beginning to wonder how it would perform if I had used a white base instead. Would it have shown more? Because I'm a little curious now. Would it have shown a little bit more? I'm gonna end up going back in the palette for a deeper shade. I could see it because I feel like there's no definition, no nothing. It's like giving me, you know, like meh. But knowing me, I don't give up. So I'm gonna keep using this. I'm debating because the Adept palette has so much shimmer options. I don't know, I'm getting excited. And it has multi-tones, duos. Like, look at these 3 shimmers. Very similar, but they different have undertone. And look at this. Like, this right here, though. I like this one. I think I'm going to use that one. That shade, my dear, is called Linda. And I like it already because that's my cousin's name. That's one of my favorite cousins. Shout out to Linda. But I'm going to use Linda as the lid for this look. So I'm going to use Linda right here. But before I use Linda, I want to really try to, like, I just feel like the shadow needs a little bit more kick. So I'm wondering, I'm debating if I want to do a purple or if I want to do a brown. The purple would be coming from the Mika palette, but then the brown would be coming from the Natasha Denona. When in doubt, try both. So here we go. I'm going to do the brown first. If it gives me that definition that I wanted, I'm going to stay with it. If it does not, I'm going to go over with that beautiful purple. So the brown in the Natasha Denona is called Silhouette. Let's try that out. I'm gonna pack it on to see if I go up. It's doing a little something. Let's see if we pack it on, what's gonna happen. Pack it on some more. Blend it outwards, but it looks like when you blend the shadow, it kind of fades it out. It's not giving me the depth that I want. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to add both. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the Adept Mika palette and go into Maria. So the deep purple. And see if Maria could save this. I'm going to put it right on top of that Silhouette brown from Natasha Denona. This is a NYX number 13 eyeshadow. It's a flat, fluffy brush. Okay. Oh, I think we're getting somewhere here. Yep, we are. We are definitely getting somewhere here. To the point where I'm even blending out my crease to go with it. Yes, the purple helped a lot. Now, I want to go back old school. Let's do a cut crease. That's what I'm thinking about doing. I'm going to use my NC42 to do a cut crease. And I'm going to use a lip brush from BH Cosmetics. This was in a set. They no longer sell this set. I haven't actually heard anything from BH anymore. I don't know, ever since Makeup Revolution bought them, I don't know what happened. But I'm going to carve out the shape of my eye with the lip brush and the concealer. Spread it out a little bit. We got it. All right. So I didn't do the full crease. I did halfway. Well, somewhat half. I didn't take it all the way. I took it a little bit past the half. I'm going to use my eyeshadow brush and use a flat one. This is A Studio's E121 eyeshadow brush. This is a flat one. I am going to use Linda all over the lid. I'm going to hit a bit of Mika right on top of, like not on top, but like in the front. So Linda on the lid and Mika in the inner corners. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do Linda. Linda is a multi. Yeah, it's a multi-chrome, which I think is so beautiful. Oh my gosh. She's gorgeous. Oh my God. She's so freaking gorgeous. Look at that. And then we'll do the same thing to the other eye. I don't know why I was sleeping on this palette. Oh my goodness. What were you thinking, girl? What? She's so freaking pretty. What was I thinking? I was sleeping on you. And you know, these two palettes are not the only two palettes that I've done this to. I would sit there and watch reviews all the time. Look at countless videos of other people, you know, purchasing certain eyeshadow palettes or certain products from brands. And I am so, when I tell you, on with the trends, on with you know, what's out in new now. And I will purchase these items with the whole intent to use them. And then I get them. I look at them. Sometimes I don't even swatch it. I just look at it, close it, and put it in my makeup vanity. And then just the satisfaction of watching somebody else talk about the products and know that I have it, I can't miss out on it because it's already in my possession, would satisfy me. And that's a bad thing, because then you spend money you don't need to spend money on, and then on top of that, you're not even using the product, so what's the point? And then before you know it, when you finally think about the palette or you think about the product, it's already done, passed over, and we're on to the next. And that's not a good look, you know. Now I'm going to take Mika and put her in the inner corner of the eyelid. But I'm going to kind of like spread her a little bit towards Linda. This one's a little bit more gritty. Mika eyeshadow is a little bit more gritty. Like there's chunks in there, chunks of glitter within this shadow. It's still cute though, but there's chunks of glitter. It's like a lavender silver, which I love. I like silvers with undertones. I think they complement better. Like imagine like like I would always say, if I was gonna go like when I get older, my hair grows white, I would always dye it to have that lavender silver look, and it would be like a nice blowout all the time, and my hair would be like volume. That's how I would want my hair to age and grow as I get older. I think that silver with the purple undertone gray is so bomb. And I wouldn't mind rocking that salt and pepper look if it's evenly distributed throughout my hair. Some people get gray in certain areas, like my mom, she only gets gray in her baby hairs, but everything else is black. If my hair would do like give that salt and pepper even distribute, like where it looks like highlights, like the silver would look like, or the grays would look like highlights in between the black, I would eat that up. It would be a Dominican blowout all the time. And if a bust down middle part straight, excuse me, old wear. That's how I would be looking at it. But who knows? I don't know how that's going to be when I get older. But if it doesn't, I'm telling you now, I'll be in that hair salon looking for that look. I'm going to go back into Maria from the Adept palette. Maria, which is the purple hair. I'm going to go ahead and blend off that edge of Linda using the NYX number 13 flat. The flat eyeshadow, fluffy eyeshadow. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side here. I'm going to come back to the eyes in a few. I want to clean up what's going on with the face because the fallout is real from both palettes. They both have like a weird fallout. I'm going to color correct using my LA Girl color correctors. I mixed two shades. I have color yellow and orange mixed together. I'm going to, again, around my mouth. I'm going to blend them with a this brush has no name. I've had this for years. It's even peeling, but it blends out my color corrector so perfectly. and it wasn't expensive. It came in a set. I think the set had 5 foundation brushes that had different shapes, but they were all dense, and then they gave us these smaller ones to, I guess, the same shapes but smaller. And this was the one that I would use. This was the angle one that I would use to do any color correcting, because it was perfect shape for under my eye and be perfect for the tight areas in my face. Reason being, I stopped going towards the eyes because I want to clean up underneath and clean up the shape of the outer part, because for some reason the first palette, I Need a Nude, the Tasha Denona palette, I don't know, I'm not too crazy about it. I expected more from it, and it's not giving what I expected it to give. So I'm going to use my NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. My shade is Tahoe. I'm going to use this as my foundation today. And again, never go wrong. Use the NYX number 3 brush. Gonna dab that in. And then start to blend it out. Comment below if you like using a brush for your foundation more, or if you like using a sponge. I used to use a sponge like a long time ago, but then I don't know, one day I was in a rush, and I knew if I got up from this table to go and wet my brush in the bathroom to come back and do my makeup, it was going to take me longer. And on top of that too, I was one of those people that, like, every time I use my brush, I had to wash it. And I did not want to do that day. I was in a rush. I don't know where I was going, but I just knew the time was not now for that. Like, I did not have the time to be doing that. So I ended up grabbing this brush and I started applying my makeup, and I'm like, oh, not only is this giving me a good performance, but I don't gotta go back and use my sponge to do nothing. Oh, it's over. Not to say that I wouldn't use my sponge again. I would use it again, especially if I have to use a thicker or heavier foundation. I'll go back and use it. But if I don't, my brush is there. And I have so many of them, so why not? Go underneath the eyes. Okay. Now that that's on, I'm gonna go between 2 types of concealers. I'm gonna use Pat McGrath in the Sephora collection. So for Pat McGrath, I'm gonna use the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Concealer in the shade M17. And then to brighten up the inner corners, I'm gonna use a Sephora Bright Future. This is the number 6 Madeline. So I'm gonna do Pat McGrath first. gonna blend out the Pat first. I'm gonna use NYX Professionals again. I'm gonna use brush number 26 to blend out the concealer. Go ahead and do that. I love this concealer. Gonna do my bridge of my nose. The center of my forehead. And under my eye. I'm gonna go under the eye, but also use the opportunity to clean up the shape of my eyeshadow using my concealer. See that? Not done though. I'm gonna go back with the other concealer to really get a crisp look. But I'm going inside of my nose. I'm gonna pinch my brush one more time. And then I'm gonna go ahead and that in. Okay, so now I'm gonna go with the Sephora collection one, just in the inner corners, right there, just to wake up that, give that eye look a little oomph. Let me stick to the same brush. I'm gonna go right in that inner corner, right underneath the eye. Just to wake it up a little bit more. Right there. Same thing on this side. And also clean up that wing edge. But I need to get some sleep because these bags under my eyes are not being nice right now. They're showing up and reminding me about myself. So I just went over the edges of my concealer with whatever's left over from my foundation on my brush. I'm gonna quickly set underneath my eyes. I'm gonna use my Sacha Buttercup setting powder from Sacha Cosmetics. It's a staple. It's an oldie but a goodie. Never steers me wrong. I'm gonna set under my eyes real quick with that. I'm not doing a heavy set. I didn't pack it on like I would normally do. But I put enough to get what I want out of it, which is to help my concealer not crease and to stay put. I'm not going to set the rest of my face yet because I want to use a cream bronzer to contour with. So the cream bronzer that I have in mind to use is from Juvia's Place. I bought it, but I haven't used it enough. I like it, but I don't know if I love it yet. Do you get what I'm saying? I have the shade Caramel. This Real Techniques 059 brush as a brush for my cream contour. Gonna dab that in there and go ahead and brush that in. Oh, that's nice. It's natural. It's not like crazy. You know, some bronzers, like the minute you put them on, it's like bam in your face. This one is not like that. I like that. And it performs really nicely. Oh wow. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, and we're back. I am bronzing with the Juvia's Place cream bronzer. I'm going around my hairline with it. So far, so good. I like it. It's giving me a natural blend. And then I'm gonna go back using a NYX Professional's number 31 brush. I'm gonna go back in the bronzer and contour my nose with that. I'm gonna draw out the shape with it. I'm gonna use my finger to really blend that out. Like that side, you see how that's like a strong look? I'm gonna blend that out with whatever concealer I have left over on my concealer brush. So soften that up, because it was a little strong just now. I'm gonna go back in lightly this time to get the shape that I want. With my nose. There you go. I like that. Now I'm gonna set everything that I just used with the bronzer. I'm gonna set with the Juvia's Place Duo Bronzer. I have the shade Tan if you're curious as to what color I use. I'm gonna go ahead and blend the two to set my cheeks. Around my hairline. And then my jawline. And then I'm gonna switch to an eyeshadow brush. Just like the ones we used earlier. I'm gonna use the NYX 32 and go ahead and set go over the nose contour with that. And then from there, take my powder brush. I'm going to blend everything in because we need everything to mesh well. So I'm going to use my Fenty Beauty Pro Filter. The shade I'm going to use is 345. Dab it in and blend everything in. Blend everything. We want everything to be effortless and mesh well. All right, let's go back to the eyes for a minute here. Okay, now that the lashes and the eyeliner's on, I have Linda underneath the eye on the waterline. And we're gonna go ahead and finish the base. For my cheeks, I'm gonna use Juvia's Place Duo blush in the number 4. I'm gonna use these two actually. I'm gonna mix them together to get the color payoff that I want. And then I'm going to melt everything in. I'm going to use my favorite primer water from Smashbox. So upset that they discontinued it. This is all I have left. Like, I don't know why they discontinued this. If I would have known they was going to discontinue this, I would have racked up. I'm going to use that so we can melt everything in. And then something else that I purchased that I never used was my highlighter from Pat McGrath. This is the Skin Fetish Sublime Skin Highlighter. This is Venetian Nude. It's like a rose gold highlighter. I'm going to use that to highlight cheekbones. See that? Oh, look at that. Every time, I think this is about the second time I've used it. The first time I used it, it kind of like shocked the heck out of me. Because I wasn't expecting it for it to be that nice. And it kind of blew me away. I was getting ready to do a wedding, and the bride asked me if I have Pat McGrath products, and I was like, yeah, who doesn't? And at that time, I surely didn't. I don't know why I was lying, but I wanted to make sure I executed. So I was on that Pat McGrath hunt. When I tell you, I was watching every sale online, whether it was in Sephora or if it was in the Pat McGrath website, I was watching. And then when they started popping up at TJ Maxx and Marshalls, the goose hunt went across the country. It went across the country. I had my good friend, belmechery. I'll put her channel in the description below. She's another YouTuber, a good friend of mine. I met her through YouTube. She was also on the goose hunt for me. That was my A1 person to go to. I'm also going to use it to highlight my brow bone. Like, when I tell you, we were both in every single TJ Maxx, Marshalls we could find in our area so I could get all the Pat McGrath that I could get. And you know something? It paid off because all the collections that was coming out at the time started showing up in the stores. And they worked out. So not only did she was able to snag one for me, but it didn't show up in my area until after the wedding. And I ended up buying myself one. I was like, it's staying in my kit, but I need one for myself. So I went and got one for myself too. Then I put some of my face powder on my chin. I put so much highlighter. Yeah, but I needed one for myself. Like, I was not passing that up. So, if you could get Pat McGrath, if you can get your hands on Pat McGrath for a discounted price, go for it. I'm not knocking nobody because trust me, it's worth it. There's a face for my lip, a NYX lip liner. I can't find this nowhere. This is the Slide On Glide On Stay On Definitely Eternal Waterproof Extreme Lip Liner. This is the shade Urban Cafe. If you know, you know. This is one of the best brown lip liners out there for drugstore. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they discontinued the Slide On Glide On line. They probably did. But I made sure I got me some backups because I do not want this liner out of my life. I have backups. I have more than this, just 3 extra ones here. But it is a lip liner that I will not give up for nobody. I even went as far as finding dupes from other brands to make sure, but I still haven't found something. I found something close, which is from Makeup Forever, Limitless Brown. It's close, but it's not exactly that. So if somebody knows a perfect dupe for this Slide On Glide On by NYX Urban Cafe, drop that in the comments below. Let me know. Tell me something. Or if you have a good lip liner that you think would be bomb, other than Max Cork and Chestnut, let me know. I'm going to line our lip with this. I don't know what happened to my ending clip, but for some reason I lost that footage. But I'll be sure to add what I use on my lips. But this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and thank you for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.